There are entire industries in this world that don't make money when your life is going well. They make money when things fall apart, when you're sick, when you're broke, when you're desperate, when you're grieving. And the uncomfortable truth is, some of the biggest, most powerful industries on earth quietly depend on human suffering to keep their profits flowing. Now, that doesn't mean every person working in these industries is evil. Many people genuinely want to help. But the systems themselves, they often reward one thing above all else: more suffering, more problems, more people trapped in the cycle. Today, we're going to walk through 7 massive industries worth billions, even trillions, that make enormous profits when life goes wrong for you. And once you see how the system works, you can't unsee it. But before we begin, understand something important. This is the kind of content algorithms quietly bury. So if you want more videos that expose how the world actually works, subscribe now, because once you leave this video, there's a good chance you won't see us again. Now let's begin. 1. Big Pharma, the $1.5 trillion industry. Imagine if a business made money only when people were sick. That's essentially the business model behind much of the modern pharmaceutical industry. The global pharmaceutical market generates over $1.5 trillion every year. Now, medicines save lives. That's undeniable. Antibiotics, insulin, vaccines, cancer treatments, millions of people depend on them. But the system creates a strange incentive. Pharmaceutical companies make the most money when people need long-term medication, not when people get cured quickly. Think about it. A pill you take every day for the rest of your life is far more profitable than a treatment you take once and never need again. This is why many of the biggest blockbuster drugs treat chronic conditions: high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, cholesterol, anxiety. Millions of people take these medications for decades. Again, the issue isn't that medicine exists. The issue is that the profit model rewards lifelong treatment instead of permanent solutions. And when profits reach into the trillions, those incentives shape the entire healthcare ecosystem. 2. Private prisons, over $80 billion. Now, imagine a business where the product is prisoners. That's the uncomfortable reality behind the private prison industry. In several countries, especially in the United States, prisons are sometimes run by private companies that are paid per inmate, which means the more people incarcerated, the more money they make. Empty prison beds? That's lost revenue. These companies sign contracts with governments guaranteeing high occupancy rates, sometimes as high as 90%. Think about what that means. If crime goes down, if fewer people are incarcerated, the prison still needs to stay full to remain profitable. Critics argue this creates incentives that quietly support harsher sentencing laws, stricter policing, and longer prison terms. Because for private prison companies, more prisoners means more profit. 3. Health insurance, $1.2 trillion. Health insurance is supposed to protect you. You pay monthly premiums so that when something goes wrong, you're covered. But the insurance industry is built on a basic financial principle. They must collect more money than they pay out. Every claim approved costs them money. Every claim denied saves them money. That creates a conflict. Insurance companies bring in over $1.2 trillion a year, and their profits depend on carefully controlling how much they pay for medical care. That's why many people experience things like claims being denied, endless paperwork, coverage disputes, delayed approvals. It's not personal, it's mathematical, because every dollar they don't pay becomes part of the profit. 4. The funeral industry, $20 billion. Few moments in life are more vulnerable than losing someone you love, and the funeral industry knows it. Globally, funerals generate around $20 billion every year. A basic funeral in many countries can easily cost $8,000 to $15,000. But here's the difficult truth. When families are grieving, they aren't negotiating. They aren't comparison shopping. They're emotional. They want to honor the person they lost, and funeral providers understand this deeply. So families often end up paying for expensive caskets, premium burial plots, ceremonial services, transportation, flowers, administrative fees, all during one of the most painful moments of their lives. 5. Debt collection, $20 billion. Here's something most people don't realize. When you owe money and stop paying it, your debt is often sold. Debt collection companies buy massive bundles of unpaid debt from banks and lenders, and they buy it for pennies on the dollar. For example, a $1,000 debt might be purchased for $40. If the collector convinces you to pay even $200, they've already made a huge profit. That's why debt collectors can be so persistent. Phone calls, letters, legal threats, because every dollar they recover is often several times what they paid for the debt. 6. Fast food, the $900 billion machine. The fast food industry is worth nearly $900 billion worldwide, and it isn't just about convenience anymore. Food scientists carefully engineer many fast foods to trigger powerful responses in your brain. The perfect combination of salt, sugar, fat. These combinations activate dopamine, the brain chemical linked to pleasure and addiction, which is why some foods feel almost impossible to stop eating. But here's where it becomes more complicated. Fast food companies also spend billions marketing to children and low-income communities. Why? Because lifelong customers are extremely valuable. The earlier the habit forms, the longer the profits last. 7. Payday loans, $30 billion. Finally, we arrive at one of the most controversial industries of all, payday loans. These are short-term loans designed for people who need money immediately. The problem is, the interest rates can be staggering. Some payday loans carry effective annual interest rates of 300 to 400%. They target people in moments of desperation, someone behind on rent, someone facing medical bills, someone trying to cover groceries until payday. And once someone enters the system, escaping the cycle can be extremely difficult. Many borrowers end up rolling the loan over repeatedly, paying new fees every time. What started as a small emergency loan can spiral into a long-term financial trap. Now again, it's important to say this clearly. Not every person working in these industries is bad. Doctors save lives, insurance agents help families, funeral directors comfort grieving people. But the structures behind these industries often reward one thing: more problems, more sickness, more debt, more desperation, more people caught in systems they can't easily escape. And when billions, even trillions of dollars are involved, those incentives become incredibly powerful. The goal isn't fear. The goal is awareness. Because the moment you understand how these systems work, you start protecting yourself from them. And that's knowledge most people never get. If you found this eye-opening, subscribe, because this channel exists to reveal the systems shaping our lives behind the scenes. And once you see them, you start moving through the world very differently.